Good morning, students. So let me continue the prose piece, that is my greatest Olympic prize. In previous videos we discussed about the title, about the writer, about Olympic games, and we also completed unit 1. Then in previous video we actually went halfway in unit 2, and this unit 2, the other half, I am to complete in this video. And till now what we have discussed, Olympic games were held in Berlin. There one world class athlete, Jesse Owens, actually came from America to participate there in Berlin Olympics, and how he felt disturbed, how he was really disturbed when he came across the Aryan superiority theory being opined by Adolf Hitler, etc. And we discussed he also got angry, and because he was attempting in his angry mood, that's why he committed fault. And in the trial event, actually in the trial event means it is the qualifying round in order to qualify for the final, and in that qualifying round each athlete would have been given 3 chances, and in out of these 3, the first 2 chances had been declared as no jump, jumped by Jesse Owens. Actually Jesse Owens jumped or committed foul in 2 of his 3 chances, only last chance was there, and he was greatly disturbed. He was cursing himself, he was blaming himself because he covered some 5,000 kilometers to come from America to Germany in order to participate. In addition to that, he was actually the world record holder in long jump. 1 year before, when he was the university student, he set the world record by covering 26 feet 8 and 1/4 inches. And that athlete, the very same athlete who had the world record in the long jump event under his belt, the same athlete was struggling hard in order to qualify for the final. 2 of his jumps had already been declared as no jump. Until now we have discussed, now we have to continue. Then also we discussed how he actually, Lozlong was one German athlete. He was a world class athlete, but with an evil intention, Adolf Hitler kept him secretly, and he fielded him directly in the Olympic arena in Berlin, and it made our writer angry. He wanted to prove a point to Adolf Hitler. He wanted to show that despite being the Negro, he was capable to win the gold medal, and because now he was performing with an angry mood, that's why only he committed errors. Now Lozlong came and wanted to pacify him, wanted to make Jesse Owens calm and quiet, calm and composed. Believe me, I know it, I told. From here we have to continue. Believe me, I know it, I told him, and it felt good to say that to someone. Believe me, I know it means, now previously it had been mentioned that Lozlong told Jesse Owens that he was the world class event and the world class athlete, and the athlete who set the world record by covering the longest distance is long jump. That type of athlete should never struggle in the qualifying jump. And now Lozlong told Jesse Owens that something definitely was there which was putting him in trouble or which was troubling him, otherwise quite easily he could have qualified for the final. And in response to the opinion of Lozlong, now Jesse Owens is delivering this dialogue, that he knew that he could quite easily qualify for the final round. For the next few minutes we talked together. We here means Lozlong and Jesse Owens. So for the next few minutes we talked together. Now friendship had been initiated by Lozlong, and Jesse Owens had no problem to be friend with Lozlong. So now they were talking together, and their conversation continued for a few minutes. I did not tell Long what was eating me. Eating here means troubling. I told you already. Eating means troubling or putting in trouble or putting somebody in trouble. Somebody here means somebody, in fact. So putting somebody in trouble. So I did not tell Long what was eating me. Jesse Owens did not reveal the fact what really was troubling him. Why? You know, Lojlong was the key factor for all of his anger. He was angry because Lojlong was the German athlete who covered the distance quite equaling the world record right in the qualifying round. That's why only he got angry, and in order to prove a point to Adolf Hitler, he wanted to cover the longest of the distance in the trial round, and for in that attempt actually he was committing error, he was committing foul, he was overstepping the takeoff board. So now because Lojlong came with a friendly heart to befriend with him, to make friendship with him, how could Jesse Owens tell Lojlong that Lojlong was the key factor for all of his trouble or all of his anger? That's why he did not reveal his anger, he did not reveal the cause of his anger, but he seemed to understand my anger. But he supposed to know why Jesse Owens was angry. And he took pains to reassure me. Reassure means say somebody something so that he would feel less frightened. So reassure means, now you know, sometimes suppose you are in a troubled state or your younger brother is in a troubled state, then either you or your papa or mama would come and tell him different words so that he would feel relaxed, he would feel less frightened. That is reassure. That means now Jesse Owens was in a troubling situation. He was struggling hard in order to qualify for the final. 2 of his 3 jumps had already been declared as no jump. That's why only one chance, last chance was left with Jesse Owens. So he was in a troubled state, in a dire situation. And now Lojlong told or talked with Jesse Owens just to make him feel less frightened. That means just to make him feel relaxed. Although he had been scolded means took formal training. So here what it has been mentioned here, although he had been scolded in Nazi youth movement and scold, what does it mean? Actually, when Adolf Hitler was the ruler there in Germany, he started the provision of giving the training psychologically and physically to the smaller children. Right from the grassroots level, he wanted to promote nationalistic spirit among the Germans. Right from the school days, the smaller children were also taught about Aryan superiority theory, about Nazi youth movement, etc. They were made to believe that Germans were superior to all other races in the world. They were made to believe that they were superior and they were born to rule over the world. So such type of things were being taught to the smaller children right from the grassroots level, and Lojlong was no exception to that. Lojlong right from the school days had been learning about the Nazi youth movement, about the Aryan superiority theory, how Germans were the real Aryans and how they were the superior most race in the racial hierarchy in the world. And even though he had been trained formally all these things, but he did not believe in all these things. So it had been mentioned here, although he had been schooled in the Nazi youth movement, he did not believe in the Aryan superiority business any more than I did. I mean so, Jesse Owens. That means it has been mentioned that Jesse Owens did not believe in Aryan superiority theory, and Lojlong also did not believe more than him. That means neither Jesse Owens nor Lojlong believed in Aryan superiority theory. But one point has been mentioned here, that Jesse Owens did not believe. Why? Because he belonged to America, and so naturally he did not believe in Aryan superiority theory. But Lojlong, he was one German right from the grassroots level. When he was a small child, when he was a school student, when he was the student in the university level, all through his scholastic career he had been taught about Aryan superiority theory. He was made to believe that Aryans, Germans were the real Aryans, and hence Aryans were the superiormost race in the racial hierarchy. Still then, despite being taught right from the grassroots level to Lodgelong, did not believe in Aryan superiority theory. That means both of them did not believe in Aryan superiority theory. That means both of them were the sports person in the real spirited way. They were true spiritedly sports person, they were the real sports person. They knew that in order to excel in the sports arena, you needed to have, or you need to have agility, physical strength, skill, long training, etc., etc. Discipline, you should put yourself in a disciplined way, then only you can perform better in the sports arena, in the athletic field. So whether you are Aryan or whether you are Negro, whether you belong to the higher race or lower race, it matters nothing. So far as performance in the athletic field is concerned, if you are to excel in the sports arena, then you have to show your agility, strength, many different things are needed there, not the race, not the nationality, etc. So neither Lodgelong nor Jesse Vance believed in Aryan superiority theory, and Aryan superiority theory was the thing that was putting Jesse Vance in a problem, that was actually putting Jesse Vance in anger. Jesse Vance was angry only because of the Aryan superiority theory, only because Hitler opined that Germans were the Aryans and Aryans were the superior most in the racial hierarchy, hence they were to excel anywhere and everywhere, including the athletic arena. And because because Jesse Vance was one Negro, and Negroes are supposed to be at the lowermost ladder in the social hierarchy. Suppose this is the social hierarchy, and Aryans are supposed to be at the topmost, and Negroes are supposed to be at the bottom half. And you know, if any person, suppose a Brahmin will all the time say, suppose a Brahmin will say all the time, I am Brahmin, I am Brahmin, I am Brahmin, I can do this because I am a Brahmin, then don't you think any person belonging to the lower caste, he will definitely feel insulted, he will be disturbed, he will not like the idea the person is continuously saying Brahmin, Brahmin, Brahmin. Similarly, because Adolf Hitler gave the opinion that Germans were the Aryans and Aryans were the superiormost race in the racial hierarchy in the world, and because Negroes are supposed to be at the bottom half of the lowermost ladder of the racial hierarchy, that's why he felt insulted, that's why he got angry. And now when Jesse Vance came to know that Lodgelong did not believe in Aryan superiority theory, so he befriended with Lodgelong. That means now friendship started to be creeping out in between them. They started to be friends of heart and soul. We laughed over the fact that he really looked the part, though. Check here, what does it mean here? Now both of them did not believe in Aryan superiority theory. Neither Lodgelong nor Jesse Vance believed in Aryan superiority theory. But now they started laughing. Why? Because Lodgelong's physical appearance was a little superior to Lodgelong's physical appearance was supposed to be a little superior to Jesse Vance. Why? Because Jesse Vance was short-heighted and Lodgelong was little taller than him. Then Jesse Vance was black in color or dark in color, but Lodgelong was fair in color. Jesse Vance was not that much handsome to look at, but Lodgelong was so much, or that means amazingly handsome, amazingly attractive to look at. And Jesse Vance was not that much, that means muscularly well built, but Lodgelong was muscularly well built also. So all of these physical structures made him a little superior to Jesuits. That's why now they started laughing over the fact that the physical appearance of Lozlong made him superior to Jesuits. So we laughed over the fact that he really looked the part, though an inch taller than I. He had a lean muscular frame, clean blue eyes, fair hair and a strikingly handsome face. Lean means what do you mean by lean? Lean and thin are two different words really. Lean means not fat and thin means also not fat. The difference is thin means you should take pity on him because physically he is weak. He should have put on a little more weight, that is thin. But lean means he is not fat, that means fat is not there, he is not bulky, he is physically well built, that is lean. And for ladies also we use thin one, then slim another word. Thin means physically weak, she should have put on a little weight. You are taking pity because she was not that much physically sound, she was so weak. But slim means she is not fat, looking attractive. Similarly now lean means muscularly well built. So you should use the word lean if a person is muscularly well built. You may take the body of John Abraham, you may take the body of Tiger Shroff, they are lean. That means both of them have lean body. So he was lean who? Lozlong was lean. Muscularly lean, muscular frame, that means physically well built. Clear blue eyes. Lozlong was one German and he had blue eyes. You know the pupil, our eyes have pupils and pupils have different colors. We have the brown pupils, black pupils, etc. And Lozlong had blue pupils, and you know blue colored eyes with a fair body. If a person looks fair and he had blue eyes, then definitely it would be sharper and the person would be so much handsome. And fair hair and a strikingly handsome face. Strikingly handsome face means strikingly handsome. Strikingly handsome means it should be pronounced handsome, not handsome. It is handsome. Strikingly handsome means that means amazingly attractive. And he was amazingly attractive. Who? Lozlong. So physically, so far as the physical appearance is concerned, Lozlong was definitely way ahead from Jesuits, because Jesuits was ugly looking, but Lozlong was so amazingly attractive. Finally, seeing that I had calmed down somewhat. How I had calmed down? That means, let me complete the sentence. Finally, seeing that I had calmed down somewhat, he pointed to the checkerboard. Now, because Lozlong and Jesuits, both of them were laughing, and you know, if someone is smiling or if someone is laughing, that means all of his tension has been decreased. So now, because Jesuits was laughing with Lozlong, that's why it was clear that Jesuits was no more in a tensed way. He was no more in an angry mode. He was no more in a troubled state. That's why now, when Lozlong found that Jesuits had been calmed down, so now he pointed out to the checkerboard. Checkerboard, I told you, this is the pit. Suppose this is the pit. Pit means one hole, large hole dug in the ground, then it is filled with sand. This is the pit. So this is the pit, and one line will be drawn here. This is the checkerboard. All the athletes need to jump before this line. They are not to touch the line, nor step on the line, nor overstep it. If they will either touch the line or overstep the line, then the jump will be no jump. and only one more jump was left with Jesse Vance. That's why now Lozlong pointed the checkerboard to Jesse Vance. Look, he said, why don't you draw a line a few inches at the back of the board and aim at making you take up from there? You will be sure not to foul and you certainly ought to jump far enough to qualify. What does it matter if you are not first in the trials? Tomorrow is what counts. Check here what actually Lozlong advised Jesse Vance. He told that because, check here, I am telling you, making things easier. Suppose this is the qualifying distance. One athlete needs to jump from here anywhere but before the line. Needs to jump from here and to cover this much of distance. This is the qualifying distance. Once the athlete covers this much of distance in the final round, they were to participate. And there the longest distance covered by the athlete would have been awarded the gold medal. So now Lozlong advised Jesse Vance that why he was trying to cover the longest of the distance. He should aim at covering this much of distance only. Why? Because tomorrow is what counts. What counts means important. Counts means important. Here Lozlong pointed out or made it clear to Jesse Vance that this is only the trial round and he was to cover this much of distance, and because Lozlong was capable to cover this much of distance, because he set the world record by covering the longest of the distance, that is 26 feet 8 hole 1/4 inches. That's why now the athlete who was capable to cover this much of distance, don't you think quite easily he could cover this much of distance? And Lozlong now pointed out that this is only the qualifying round. Why he was aiming at covering the longest of the distance in trial round? Instead of aiming at covering the longest of the distance, he should aim at covering this much of distance, because once he qualified for the final, then there he could have given his best. There he could have covered the longest of the distance according to his capability. But this time he was only to qualify for the final, and he was left with only one chance. That's why rather than aiming to be the first in the trial round, he should aim at covering this much of distance so that he could qualify for the final, so that he would be jumping in the final. There he could give his best, and there he could aim at covering the longest of the distance and hence winning the gold medal. So this time, because he was left with only one chance, that's why what Lozlong said, Lozlong advised him not to try to come the first in the trial round, but to cover this much of distance. In addition to that, what he advised him, he told him that this is the real checkerboard, but he should draw a line few inches back from the original checkerboard, and now he should think that this is the checkerboard, and aiming this line he should jump. Check here, suppose he would think that this is the checkerboard, now he will step here. Even if he would start jumping a few inches back, still then he could cover this much of distance. Why? The athlete who is capable to cover this much of distance, and if the line will be drawn a little away, then his distance would be this much. So now because he was to cover this much of distance, and it is quite easily he could cover this much of distance, that's why now Lozlong said that he should draw another line, a fake line before the original checkerboard, and aiming this line as the checkerboard, he should jump. Because in this case, even if he will toss the line or overstep this line, but because this is the original checkerboard, still then the jump should be a legitimate one. The jump should not be, or the jump would not be declared as no jump. Why? Because now he drew another fake line here, and aiming this line he is trying to jumping, and if he stepped here, no problem. Even if he tossed it or overstepped it, still then no problem, because this is the original checkerboard, and hence this jump would be, because he would be jumping from here or here or here and here, that means this jump definitely would be a legitimate one, and it would not be declared as a no jump, and quite easily he could cover this much of distance. Things are clear? Now he said that the athlete who was capable to cover this much of distance, if he would jump a few inches back from the original checkerboard, no problem, he could cover this much of distance or this much of distance, and covering this much of distance is a child's game for him, because the athlete who is capable to cover this much of distance, quite easily he could have covered this much of distance. So now he advised him to draw another fake line here, and thinking that this is the original takeover, he should jump. So in this case, no problem, this jump, even if he will touch it or overstep it, still then, because this is the original takeover, still then the jump will be a legitimate one, and hence he would qualify for the final. Things are clear? Because he said that tomorrow, that means the next day was the final round, there he should try to cover the longest of the distance. Here this is the qualifying round, he should aim only to cover this much of distance, bas, to qualify for the final. Suddenly all the tension seemed to ebb out. Ebb out it is. Ebb means recede or flow back, or here it means decreased. Ebb is the opposite word of tide. Tide, you know, suppose it is the sea, this is the sea, and huge waves would come like this is the tide, and when it comes back, when it recedes, this is ebb. That means this is juara, this is bhatta. That means when huge tides or huge waves are coming, this is tide. When the water recedes back or goes back or flows back, it is ebb. And now previously he was tensed, he was in a very nervous mode, and now when Lojlong made it clear that it is only one qualifying round, he was only to qualify, he should not aim at coming the best in the athlete in the trial round, he should rather try to cover the qualifying distance. In the final round he could give his best. Now, and then he also told him and he also advised him that suppose this is the pit, this is the takeover, he had advised him to draw another fake line and as the takeover, and aiming this line or thinking this line as the takeover, he should jump. So in this case, even if he will touch this line or step on the line, still then the jump will not be declared as the no jump. Why? Because this is the original takeover and this is the fake takeover. So now all the tension decreased. Now Jesse Vance felt relaxed. Suddenly all the tension seemed to ebb out of my body as the truth of what he said hit me. What the truth I just discussed? Now Jesse Vance also realized the point told to him by Lojlong. What Lojlong told him, actually Jesse Vance believed, Jesse Vance understood. Confidently I drew a line. Confidently means with much faith. With much faith I drew a line, a full foot behind the board. Now what happened? Check here. Now Lojlong advised him, this is the takeover, this is the pit and this is the takeover. Lojlong advised him to draw another fake line a few inches back. But what Jesse Vance did? Jesse Vance now quite confidently drew one line full foot behind the takeover. One line he drew, not a few inches back, but total full foot, 12 inches. So now he drew another line 1 foot behind the original takeover. Drew line behind the board and proceeded. Proceeded means moved forward. Moved forward. So now I proceeded, that means then he moved forward to jump from there. Now the point or that means the clue given to him by Lojlong. Lojlong advised him to draw another fake line from the original takeover a few inches back. But what he did, he drew another fake line 1 foot behind the original takeover, and aiming this line as the takeover, quite confidently he now moved forward to jump, thinking that this is the takeover. And I qualified with almost a foot to spare. A foot to spare, spare means extra. Spare means extra. And what here he says? Now he qualified with a full foot means secure. Suppose this is the checkerboard and this is the qualifying distance, and even though he jumped, he now drew another fake line 1 foot behind the original checkerboard, and aiming this line he jumped from here. That means some 2 foot behind from the original checkerboard he jumped. Still then he landed here 1 foot ahead from the original from the qualifying distance. That's why 1 foot to spare means not only did he cover the qualifying distance, but he landed full 1 foot ahead of the qualifying distance. That means quite easily now he qualified for the final. And remember, if Jesse Owens managed to qualify for the final, credit goes to Lozlong, because Lozlong's timely help put Jesse Owens relaxed, and because he was now jumping the third jump in a relaxed mode, no more anger was there, that means he was no more angry, and now he was jumping the third jump in a relaxed state. That's why, and that's why he now qualified. So if Jesse Owens qualified for the final, it was only because of the timely help of Lozlong. Because Lozlong came, befriended with him, he told him, or he made it clear that he did not believe in Aryan superior theory. He also advised him to draw another fake line from the original checkerboard. He also advised him not to aim to come out fast in the qualifying distance, just to in the qualifying round, but to qualify only by covering the qualifying distance only. And he also made it clear that if Jesse Owens wanted to prove a point, then he should do it in the final round. In the final round he should try to give his best, because there it will be decided whether he would win the gold medal or not. Here only he was to qualify. For all these things actually Jesse Owens felt relaxed, and now he qualified. So he qualified for the final, and in the next unit we will discuss what happened in the final round. So this much for today. I think perhaps you enjoyed my video. If any case you have any doubt, then no problem, you should tell me, okay? And if you like my video, then share it and comment. Thank you all.